Hello, class. Dr. Jeannie here. I just wanted to bring you guys up to speed on where we are and talk about our Unit 3 assignment. I want to give you some guidance on that because I found in past terms teaching this course that people jump the gun and get ahead of themselves when we're looking at these papers because they're going to build one on another in week 3, 5, and 7. So I want to make sure you guys stay on track because I found when people got ahead of themselves, they were fumbling around a little bit about what do I write about because I already wrote about that. So I'm going to help you with that. I hope you're all well. I'm sporting my, you can see me, I'm sporting my self-isolation look. I hope everyone's well. I hope the COVID-19 has not touched your family and your friends and your loved ones. I personally don't know of anyone who has it right now. And for that, I am thankful and grateful. But I am being cautious. I am being cautious about who I'm around, even though I am very, very healthy. I don't want to be a carrier. I don't want to be typhoid Jeannie. So I encourage you to do the same thing. I know some of you are considered essential personnel and you have to work, and my prayers and thoughts are with you. For those of you who are home, this is very different for you. It's not quite so different for me because I've been home for about a year now. So, but I had my freedom and I spent a lot of time with my best friend, and we went to stores and we took her 92-year-old mother to Ross and to Burke's and different places, and we took her shopping and we go to Belk and we go to Dillard's. Well, Gran's not going anywhere except to my best friend's house and to Gran's own house. They're kind of shifting her off because she needs somebody with her all the time. But with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get into what we're talking about. In Unit 2, we talked about decision making, and we talked about how our styles and our preference influence our decision making. So, and again, remember, decision making is situational. So we've talked also about some other things during the week, corporate social responsibility and things I think were in your readings. So I want you to think about that. And now we're going to talk about problem solving, and we're going to talk about ethics. So you have material on ethics, but what I really want to talk about is writing a good problem statement. So I'm going to share my screen so that you can see the little presentation I put together. Let me get my PowerPoint here. Okay, and let me get it up into a slideshow from the start. Okay, that's just a little title slide. And I will post this presentation attached in the link to this announcement. So this is what's in your material. In this assignment, you're going to select an existing business or organization that is of interest to you and has a mission and vision statement in place that can be accessed online. So pick a company you know something about and make sure they have enough information that you can launch off of that mission and vision statement, because you're going to need that to write your paper. You can use your current or past workplace, or you may select something new. So if I use my past workplace, the vision was to be nationally recognized for superior quality, and the mission was to be, hang on, I'm going to pause, hang on. I've got to pause because somebody over here, wants to talk to us. She's being bossy today. Anyway, so the mission statement of the hospital was to be the healthcare provider, to improve the quality of life in our community. I was getting it wrong. Improve the quality of life in our community. So it wasn't just specifically about healthcare, but it was about the organization's role in the community. So let's talk about problem statements. So when you, let me go back slide. When you give an overview of your business, include their mission and vision statements, who they are and what they do. The paper, not the patient, we're all patients. The paper should highlight why you chose the organization and define the issue you will be resolving throughout the project. And that's where I'm going to launch into in a minute. After you're finished, you'll submit it to me for your paper, and that's going to be due next Sunday, March 29th. Should be 2 pages in length, written in APA format. You should have 1 to 2 references for this portion of the paper. And there's some other information there, a link that you can use to go to find out more about action planning. But I think I'm going to give you enough that'll help you out here. So let's talk about a problem statement. A problem statement is a statement, and it should be no more than 1 to 2 sentences. You're going to expand it out into a paragraph of the current state of the situation. Not what you hope it will be, but what is it at this moment right now. You're going to use numbers or metrics in your statement. We're going to say, what's going on? How do we know? That's where your metrics come in. When did the problem occur, or how is it still occurring? So it should be an ongoing problem. Who is affected? Why is it important? Not why is it occurring? We can talk about that. That is the next step of the process. Where is the problem occurring? And the one thing I want to talk about is scope. Scope of the project, of the problem. Scope, keep it this big. You're going to want to go, my hands are going off the screen. I'm out of the frame. This big. No, we're going to go this big. Keep it simple. Remember that rule. Keep it simple. So here's some examples. Sales have declined, and I made this up. Sales have declined 20% over the past 3 months at the Slidell Yummy in My Tummy Po' Boy shop, causing profits to decrease by 30%. What? Sales have declined. There's my metric, by 20%. Over the past 3 months, I framed a time frame. I said where? It's at the Slidell Yummy in My Tummy Po' Boy shop, which there is no such thing. It's not in the Metairie one. It's not in the West Bank one. I'm using our area as an example. It's not in the Uptown one. At the Slidell Yummy in My Tummy. And I will tell you, this is an aside, Slidell people like to eat. Causing profits to decrease by 30%. Why is this a problem? We're losing money. That's our problem. I didn't say that it's because a Chick-fil-A opened next door, or because they had a price increase, or because the Board of Health said that Yummy in My Tummy had a problem and it was all over the news. I didn't say any of that, did I? Those are what we're going to look at when we look at root causes of the problem. Right now, we just want to know what's wrong. What's happening in the current state? My next one. Employee back-related injuries have increased 10% over the past year in the operating room, causing absenteeism and workers' comp claims to rise by 40%. Frame this one a little bit differently. I didn't compare, and I could have, compared the back-related injuries to the rest of the hospital. But I know from my experience that back injuries are prevalent in the OR because they're lifting patients and they're moving patients and they're dealing with a lot of heavy equipment and usually in very, very tight quarters. When I had to go into the operating room to look at things, I was amazed at how tight those rooms are. There is not even hardly room for the equipment, much less the people. And if you've ever been in there and you've worked in the OR, you'll understand that. It's just stuff everywhere, and hoses and pipes and whatever. So anyway, I digress. So we're talking about what? Back-related injuries, not cuts, not whatever. We're talking about strictly back-related injuries. They've increased by 10%. Time frame, past year, where? In the OR. And why is it a problem? It's causing absenteeism, and it's causing our workers' comp claims to rise by 50% or 40%. So that's the why it's important to us. See how simply I wrote those problem statements? Keep it simple. And it made it easy for me to explain it and understand. When you tend to get too much into the minutia, you get confused and you start pulling solutions and probable issues and side-related things into it. Keep it very simple. So again, I cannot say this enough because I've preached this sermon for like 40 years. Avoid incorporating solutions into your problem statement. Don't say, I'm going to go, like I said, with Yummy in My Tummy. It's not because of COVID-19 and all the restaurants are closed. I didn't say that. I didn't say why the problem's occurring. I said, why is it important? Okay? This is the first step of the process. Think about using a problem where there may be solutions you can find in research materials. That's going to be important. So step back from the problem, step back from it, and think about where can I find information on solutions where there's been another company that has resolved the problem. I'm going to give you an example, tell you a story. It's a storytelling time. Back in the 1800s, the United States Army, the country was, there were trains, but we didn't have the cargo carrying trains like we have today, with the big containerized cargo, where you put stuff in the containerized cargo and, they put the car loading and whatever on it. And ships were very slow. And they also did not have containerized cargo. They carried cargo, but they did not have the weight capacity that they have today. And in the 1800s, This is important to know. History 101. The Panama Canal was not open at that time. So if a ship was going from the East Coast to the West Coast, they'd go all the way around South America, and that would take months. So the Army was looking for a way to transport heavy material and lots of soldiers and lots of troops from one area to another. And they're like, how can we figure out how to do this? We got horses and we've got wagons, and it takes a long time. And getting them across the Rocky Mountains was not easy. And you think about across the plains, it takes days and days and days. So they looked up, and it's like all this material and how we're going to pack it up and how we're going to do it efficiently. So what they looked at, another organization that had the same type of situation, but it was an entirely different industry. And you're going to be surprised at this, and I usually ask this in the class. What do you think they benchmarked against for a solution to their problem? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The circus. The circus has a lot of equipment. They had large animals, and they had to go from town to town and break down and set up their tents very quickly, which is the same way the Army and the military had to do. So they looked at the circus. So think outside the box. And I'm going to say this because a lot of you work in healthcare. Sometimes in healthcare, we don't have the best solutions. Your industry is not the only industry. So think about where you can get information regarding solutions, tested solutions to your problem. So here's another example. I'm going to wrap it up with this. This actually is it's a little different than what I use, but this is what I use for my doctoral dissertation, my doctoral paper. When I looked at the hospital had a huge problem in housekeeping, huge. And that problem impacted every facet of the hospital, patient care particularly, but it affected us because I was running the training and development department. So I was running a lot of orientation for housekeepers. And sometimes I wouldn't even get them through a day of orientation before they were out the door doing something crazy. It's like, what's up with this? So their employee turnover was 68%, and it was actually 68% in 2014, 2015, and it was still pretty high afterwards, even though I gave them solutions. Excuse me. It was 68% compared to 14% hospital-wide. You do expect housekeeping to have a higher rate of turnover because of the nature of the work, the skill level, and the just the whole dynamics of working in that department. It's hard work. And we're finding now with this COVID-19, thank God, and bless their hearts, the housekeeping department. It's not a fun job. They made it fun working with each other, but it's not a fun job. And the housekeepers, a lot of them love their patients, and the patients love the housekeepers. But it was a big problem when you have over two-thirds of the staff turning over every year. So that means that if I hired 10 people, by the end of the year, 7 of those people would be gone, and I'd have to hire new ones. This caused beds not to be cleaned on patient discharge for an average of 4 hours, which is horrible. I'm just making a face because horrible when you're looking at a season like flu season, and you've got people backed up in the ER waiting to be admitted or backed up and admitting. So we've got all these contagious people sitting in the ER because they don't have a bed for them, and the people are complaining, and on and on and on. It also caused labor costs to be 40% over budget due to overtime. And then, you got a ripple effect here. Now you've got staff that's tired, so they get tired and they get aggravated and they quit. So it's just like a domino effect going on with this turnover thing. But I'm keeping it very simple. This is my problem statement right here. And trust me, I know it was hard. I went through iteration after iteration on writing my problem statement because you know why? I wanted to incorporate solutions. Keep it simple. So that was my sermon of the day. It is Sunday, so I am allowed to do my sermon of the day. If you have any questions, let me know. Feel free to call me. If you need to talk, reach out to me, call me. My phone number is 504-453-2894. I'm glad to talk to you. In fact, I like hearing from you guys every now and then because you're so upbeat and so happy right now, despite all the trouble and turmoil we're going through. You've been really great. I appreciate everything you do. I appreciate your work. I appreciate your engagement. I did not respond to everyone this week on the message board because you guys had it pretty well covered and it was a pretty narrow topic. But this week I'm going to be engaging with you as we talk about the ethics and problem statements and things that are going on in organizations. So with that, take care, be good. As I told you, stay out of trouble, minimize your contact with people. I am amazed at how many people in Walmart. It's a little disturbing. I don't like going there, but that's my only choice of grocery stores in my area. So I try to make it a fast in and a fast out and not get close to people. Um, Again, if you need me, give me a call, drop me a line, and I will be here to help you. And I'll be grading tomorrow. So have a wonderful Sunday. Take care. Bye.